Welcome to Dragon Dogma Online. I'm rolling initiative, and today I'm going to put together a beginner's tutorial all the way up to your first pawn, right where you can actually start opening up some things like multiplayer and a few other functions that are locked behind a certain quest. And again, for me, it didn't take that long. I think I took about maybe 35 minutes, 40 minutes until I got to the point where I can get the pawn and get access to the quest that kind of opens up a lot of the main features of the game. Now, I will truncate a bit of this video, but I want to have it kind of all laid out, just maybe sped up in the majority of the parts, and a little bit of commentary sprinkled here and there. And after we get our pawn, I'm looking forward to showing you your class quest to really actually get a decent starter weapon. Now, during this next part, we're going to actually be just kind of really rushing through the main story. Again, because of how much experience we're going to get from the story, we don't have to really fight too much stuff. And these guys over at the relay station get very comfortable because these gentlemen at the relay station is generally where you're going to be doing most of your job changes at. So, Renton on our right-hand side, this gentleman, he's mostly going to give us our job quests, and they will actually give us a level 1 weapon, which, well, it's actually level 5, but it's pretty good, and you could probably almost use it up to level 20. For this quest, we need to actually go and clear at least one quest on this board. I go into the hunt, and I just look for the easiest enemy that I can get that I know is actually available. And I know there's a lot of goblins outside, definitely on the road. So I grab this quest. Now, something that's really important is setting your hotkeys, definitely for your main items. Now, it gets really dark in this game. You need that kindling that I have on the right-hand side to actually see in the dark, as you can see the light coming on. And as I'm running through, I'm trying to find a goblin, and I'm not finding any monsters right now. Huge sign. I open a chest, nothing. Sometimes in this game, if something is not right, a quest isn't right, monsters aren't spawning, the best thing to do is to just reset, log out, log back in. And majority of the time, as you can see here, you're actually able to see some monsters. If you look on my minimap, you can see some dots. And you know, these goblins, rabbits spawn, so everything's fine. I know it's all good. So now I just have to go out and look for these goblins. Now, if you look at the minimap, I just brought it up so I can actually see. If you see a green dot, it is usually quest related. And it's depending on if it's a personal quest. This is a personal quest, so it'll be green. If it was a world quest, it would be blue. Same thing with red. And they even have an indicator over their head. So I'm going around, I'm slapping these guys. So pretty much I just have to turn in this quest and then head back to Fablo to continue the missions. Now, using the waypoints, right, the Rift Wave Teleporter, you can definitely forget about this, but if you go all the way to the side, you can do within the hub, which allows you to teleport within anywhere within the city. Quite useful for a shortcut. And speaking of shortcuts, something very useful for anyone is you can set things like your Rift Teleport to your hotkey. And so you can set almost anything. Right here, I don't even have party management on lock, and I can still set it. Same thing with the community list. So anything that you really find useful, double check and see if you can actually slot it in. You'd be surprised. We're coming up to the first town, and I always make sure to grab a waypoint before I do anything else. Always a good habit. New town, grab your waypoint, and then always go in and talk to the area master, which is who we're actually being introduced. These guys are the most important NPC in the game. Every time you go into a new area, there is an area master. Once you find him, which most likely is in the city, always talk to him and get your area rank 1 before anything. So, coming up to this dungeon, my first time playing this game, I thought I had to kill everything to proceed through the dungeon. But honestly, come to find out later on, even now, you could just skip enemies, and I do this all the time. You could just skip them, because coming up, there is a priest right here next to another rogue, and the priest just out-heals my damage, and it was completely impossible. Come to find out, I could just walk right past him. I didn't need to actually fight anyone. And coming up here, we have another waypoint, Port Crystal. Now you'll see I'll go, and I'll come back to favorite it. It is very important. Favorite every waypoint you possibly can if you're in that local area for long enough. Because if you favorite it, it's completely free to travel. You don't use any points. And you can have up to 6. And eventually, if you need more, you can just overwrite the old ones and you can pick and choose which ones you don't want anymore. So, extremely useful. Definitely if you're in an area grinding for a while. So, and particularly this point, I feel like the devs did not want you to solo this at all. You can fight the skeletons, but once you start getting to the humanoids, it gets really tough. And so again, this is one of those points where you can just run right through. You don't have to actually fight anything. All you need is the shining thing on the floor. Yeah, just run over, grab it, and you have the pawn, the rift stoneware. And now you have what you need to get your first pawn. Which again, pawns are such a crucial part of this game. Same thing with all Dragon's Dogma, but even more so in this game, it feels. Once we have our stone, we can make our own pawn. Free. Now, choosing the class doesn't really matter too much because we can always change it back in the relay station. So, I just chose a Sage Knight, but right now I don't need my pawn, so I'm going to actually kick my pawn out because the quest that we're about to do, you have to do completely solo without any pawns. All your job quests, you have to do completely solo. And again, it's nothing really too terrible. They're quite simple quests. You have it unlocked at level 1. But before we can do that, now that we have our pawn, we're able to actually get this quest. That can allow us, talking to her will allow us to unlock all these other features. As you see here, as soon as I click on the quest, reliable resources, which is very key, important, look at all that unlocked content. World quests, you know, quick party, just all these things, right? So, and it allows us to party with other players. So now we can actually get into the MMO part of this. And again, super easy quest. All you have to do is just talk to her. She wants you to look at the news. It shows relevant information. And you just proceed through the steps that she asks. And once you have this, you're able to actually start doing your job quests. Again, I'm over at Tell. I make sure to save that point in my favorites for later. After we finish reliable information, Iris wants us to make a ring, which introduces us to the crafting portion of the game. Really important later on. Still important early on, but not as much, because once you get past Season 1, everything you make has to be crafted. But before then, during Season 1, you can buy majority of your gear through the shops as you progress through the game. So, I teleport back to the relay station, and now I pick up my job quest. As you can see, I pick up a really nice, sweet 4-star weapon that you get for free. And it's, again, it's fantastic. It's free, and it's a simple quest that teaches you kind of how to play your class. Not very extensively, but, you know, it's enough. It's an introduction to the class itself. So I highly recommend it to any class that you're playing to go through and do the quest. Now, you'll run through and just make sure to do exactly what they say. Very exactly. Like, they tell you you need to break their shield. You have to wait until they actually shield, and then you have to break it. So, something that happens to a lot of people when they're doing their job quest is the quest will break. And this happens on a lot of different servers. Again, any server you're on, Rising, Revival, if a quest breaks, the best thing to do is quit the game, log back in, start the quest back up. Most of the time, it'll fix things. So, now I just have to go and kill the rest of the goblins in here, and I get a new sword. Again, I highly recommend this for new players. You'll use the sword for a minute. You'll use it for a minute, but it will save you at least 20, 30,000 gold. Easy. Now, as a new player, you're always going to be completing quests, and when you complete quests, like these red ones, the main quest, all your quest rewards are in this chest. So you have to make sure to clear and actually obtain the items. One time I went on a huge leveling spree, and I was doing board quests, and I was just doing everything, and I come back, and I had over 100 quests that I had to go through and clear out. So definitely make sure to go to the chest, check your rewards, clear them out. Now we have crafting. This is where you're going to come and craft. Very important. You can only craft with your pawns. This guy, he sells basic items, but actually not basic items. He sells really good items that you actually need. While the other guy is the bazaar, which is a completely different topic, but we won't touch on that later. I'm really lazy. I just buy the items that I need to make the ring. And now that we've made the ring, we've kind of unlocked all the crafting, or more or less the ability to craft. The crafting system is very menu heavy, so be prepared for that. And when I mean very menu heavy, it's pretty extreme. So, but no worries. Now at this point, we've kind of done a bit of stuff. I always recommend to check your adventuring journal. It will recommend you green quests. This is what I'm looking at right now. Clear out the green quests. They will always unlock new features for you. Super important. And it will also show you what your main story quest is, even if you don't have it on your priority right now. So adventuring journal as a new player, super important. That man I just talked to, he allows you to get clan access, and it's as simple as just going in and talking to the clan guy, and you're pretty much good to go. Now, I was changing my pawn to sorcerer because sorcerer is just a very solid DPS pawn. Definitely, you know, for magic, the best the best magic DPS in the game. But currently, I'm about to go and fight one of the ogres, and so it's solo only, so I had to unsummon the pawn. I recommend new players to do this job quest. Well, first off, you have to do it, but I recommend doing it as soon as possible because it really gives you an opportunity to learn just to fight big monsters. You know, it's very easy, nothing's around, it's a big area. Just make sure not to kill the monster before you do all the quest-specific things, like jumping off when it's, you know, in rage, or holding on when he's yellow, or jumping off when he's red. Because if you just straight up go and just murk him, if he has no HP, he will actually get stuck and he will never enrage again, because he will not die until the quest tells you to kill him. I have, my very first time, just killed him straight out and got it bugged, and I had to relog and do it all over again. So make sure to only kill him once the quest gives the okay. But besides that, I mean, as a new player, go out, experience, do the main storyline, adventure, look around, explore, you know? I've had a lot of fun just running around with one of my best friends, you know, just adventuring. So, but this will definitely give you a good foot in the door. If you're curious about gear progression, I have a video on that. And anything else that you're interested in, I still have quite a few video ideas, but I generally want to put out just informative videos. And maybe just eventually down the line, I want to put in some theory crafting for builds. So if you have anything, just leave me a comment, respond, check it out. But, you know, until then, I'll catch you guys later.